Welcome to All Change, the programme that puts design at the heart of the learning experience. Today we're at Woodway Park Secondary School in Coventry, and over the course of a single weekend we're going to be transforming a maths classroom. Maths is a core part of any school's curriculum, and here at Woodway Park the maths room's used for all years from 7 through to 11. It's a real challenge to provide maths rooms which are flexible enough to meet the needs of teachers and students right through the school.
Woodway Park has a suite of 4 maths rooms, which are linked by an outer reception area or quad. Our design will give the department a stronger identity using colour coding and graphics. We'll also be transforming one of the maths classrooms, creating a space where students will be able to focus better on their work. And also in today's programme, the house that's built of straw. It's home to a radical architect who's produced a design for a school of the future built with environmentally sustainable materials. We visit the inspirational Classroom of the Future, built for a primary school in Kensington. And some bright ideas for purchasing lighting that might help enhance learning environments at your school. The design for the new maths room at Woodway Park was inspired by mathematical models of curves and hyperbolic functions. Sholanda de Cruz Architects in Birmingham consulted with Woodway Park School to tailor the design to the maths department's needs.
We're looking at 2 rooms in the maths department in the school. The first one that we looked at was the reception room. It was lacking identity, it didn't say the maths department. There's about 7 doors in this room and you don't know what's a classroom, where the toilets are.
Because they all look the same, don't they, off that space?
Yeah.
Right.
So we created a colour scheme that would relate to each particular classroom.
Right, yeah.
Having 4 of the 4 strong colours.
Yeah, and I see we've got sort of a numeric theme running through, and each classroom's got a number, and it's quite visible on there, sort of linking through from the stripes on the glass.
Yeah, we've gone for quite a graphic, sort of striking entrance to the whole department. And then this theme is then carried through to the 4 classrooms.
We're working on one of the classrooms, producing a space that will better focus pupils' attention on the teacher at the front of the class. Marco de Cruz introduced a mathematical aesthetic using sculptural steel mesh.
Because of the area constraints, the teaching is quite traditional, and really the only surface available to us was the ceiling. The floor was full of desks, the walls were full of windows and storage. So really we needed a very simple device which could be linked back to the theme of mathematics. So we used the parabolas made from mesh, actually the sort of mesh that they put on the front of Bentley grills. And we got it from this place in the Black Country, and it just hangs really nicely. It forms these curves. And really what it's doing is linking back to the sort of the mathematical formula which form the parabolas, and it's sort of influencing the space by using mathematics.
There was a good turnout of Woodway Park staff over the weekend the room was worked on. The key to the design was going to be removing visual clutter from the walls. Lighting and colour would be used to produce an atmosphere where students could concentrate better.
John, we're not just doing one room this weekend, we're actually doing almost a whole maths department.
Well, it is a maths department, totally. And of course, here is the reception. And of course, in each of these rooms, you go off and do a different, I don't know whether it's trigonometry or, think of another one. Geometry, that's another one for me. Or simple maths, applied maths, whatever.
Simple maths, we'll keep it simple.
Simple maths, we'll try and keep it simple. So here we have like a reception area. And of course, it's again quite gloomy. So we're going to paint all the walls white. And then we're going to colour code each particular classroom. That's out here.
And then in the classroom itself that we're working on this weekend?
We're actually doing, which is in here. Nice and empty now. All the stuff has been cleared out. It's an unusual makeover, shall we say. We're going to try and actually do a new sort of whiteboard, move board.
Right.
replace that, because as you can see, it's had years and years of neglect.
I'm surprised they can actually see anything if they write it on this board.
They probably can't, but also to aid that as well, as you can see, there's a strip light and there's obviously a lot of glare. So we're going to put this sort of mesh canopy over the top. The idea of that is to stop some of this glare onto the whiteboard there, and also, I suppose, to focus the attention onto the board as well, rather than scatter your vision, if you like. And again, we have a lot of woodwork in here. New desks and tables. The doors in front of us here, as you can see, they're going to grey to match in with the rest of the scheme. And of course, all the pin boards, they're just all bits and pieces. So we're going to neaten all those up, replace them into different areas, not new ones. We are reusing what's here and paint those in a blue colour. So we have some sort of focus to the room and a scheme. And of course, not forgetting the windows here, we have some blinds to actually go on there. And that generally, Sharon, is it.
Is that all?
Is that all? Exactly. Yes.
2 rooms in 1 weekend. You're going to be busy.
Aren't we just?
The room sets the teachers using it a few challenges, since it's rather a small space, and it has to be configured in a traditional talk and chalk setup.
Now, your classroom's not actually very big, is it? Does that constrain you in any way?
It does. I'm limited to how I can rearrange the tables. I've got it in a basic formation at the moment, where they're all facing me. I can move them around a bit, but only as far as putting them together to form groups of 4.
Do you think if you had a bigger space, it might impact on the way that you teach?
I'd experiment with different arrangements of tables, certainly. Maybe a bit more group work, because that is the limiting factor with a small classroom. They are facing me, and I'm teaching directly at them, which is okay for the majority of the time. But if I could rearrange them, maybe in an arc, experiment like that sort of thing, I'd probably try that with a larger room.
In August 2000, the government invited local education authorities to bid to build classrooms for the future, learning environments tailored specifically to the needs of their users. St Francis of Assisi Primary School in the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea were successful in achieving £750,000, and they've created one of the most original and inspiring classrooms in the country. It's a futuristic pod. It was designed by Studio E architects, who worked with the school community to produce a radical yet functional building. The head teacher of St Francis was able to articulate precisely what he wanted.
Something very futuristic, something with in an organic shape, either in circular form or an oval shape, with different areas which could be used for different purposes. And this is what the architects came up with.
It sits on gabions, mesh boxes filled with stones, a building technique devised by the medieval Italians. The roof is made of ETFE, the same material used for the domes at the Eden Project in Cornwall. Inside there's a tropical biosphere with breakout learning spaces from the main classroom. The classroom itself has a wireless network, providing its Year 5 pupils with internet connectivity via tablet PCs.
We're trying as much as possible to make this a paperless classroom, so for as many of the subjects as possible, we use the tablets. They get to do a lot of research work on the internet. We don't have to worry about getting to the library, we don't have to be worried about finding a slot in the ICT suite, so anytime you need to use the computer, it's there at your fingertips.
My teacher is nice. My TA is nice. Tablets are good to work on and stuff. Do good work. It's a really good classroom and I like it.
In the other classes, when we go to learn different subjects, sometimes we have to use books instead of tablets. Because we're the only class in the school that has the opportunity to use them every day.
The school has developed an outdoor learning landscape with a forest trail of the trees that were present in Britain at the time of the Ice Age. There's a stream that's used as a resource for science and geography lessons. All rather surreal in inner city London. On the roof there's an observatory telescope. but there are a few teething problems.
The problems that we're having is that in the summer it's far too hot, so we're now working on covering the roof with photovoltaic cells. They're actually experimenting with how the cells, which are approximately 2 metres in length, half a metre in width, how they can be suspended above the roof so that in inclement weather, windy weather, they don't actually rub against the actual roof and damage it.
The paradox for St Francis of Assisi is that although it's blessed with a revolutionary classroom, there's an obligation and a price to be paid if it's to stay at the forefront of technology.
What we need to do is to be a classroom of the future, but be at the cutting edge of technology, but still have the money or find the money to be able to upgrade to the next generation of tablets. That's the main problem, keeping up with technology.
Back at Woodway Park, project manager John Craig is replacing the tired old board roller.
Now class, new board, new teacher, me.
Head teacher Steve Allen brandishes a paint roller. Things are progressing well.
Steve, I see we've got you looking very glamorous and working hard.
You have.
What do you think of the designs that we're producing this weekend?
I think it's very interesting. I mean, what we would simply do is brighten the rooms up with a quick lick of paint, but I think your designs are quite interesting. I think the kids are going to be really impressed when they come on Monday.
And what difference do you think it's going to make to the way the space is used?
It makes a huge difference. I mean, it shows that it's a quality learning environment, and the nicer the environment, the better the teaching, the better the learning. Simple as that.
Now, one of the problems in this room, well, there's a few actually, is the fact that it's actually south-facing. The children are complaining the fact that, sir, the sun is blinding me, I can't see the whiteboard. I personally don't believe that. I think it's an excuse that I don't like maths. But just to try and put that right, down come these old blinds that didn't really work, and up will go these little trendy Venetian blinds.
The blinds and the colour scheme are designed to give a calming ambience in the maths room.
Natasha, what do you think of the designs for the new maths room?
They're pretty cool, they're different, yeah.
Do you think it's going to be very different to what it was before?
Yeah, a lot different, a bit more colour.
And Stacey?
I think it's bright and colourful, which will probably cheer up the students more. So it will probably help us out with studies and that.
Yeah? Is the room pretty boring before then?
Yeah, very dull, very uninspirational.
With the arrangement of the horizontal stripes going across the quad here, I think that we have an open door environment anyway, but it means that sort of the children will be able to come out into here and work in the quad, which will be quite new for us.
Oh, fantastic. So a more flexible space then to use.
I think so, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm looking for.
Woodway Park's head teacher, Steve Allen, is a man with a mission. He's only been a head for a year, and in that short space of time, his leadership has helped to bring about huge improvements to the learning environments all over the school.
So Steve, you've been updating areas of the school over the past year. This is one of the areas that you've actually started on. Tell me why you picked this one.
Well, this is quite an important area because it's the first area the children see when they walk through the main gate. And it was quite drab, to be honest with you. So what we've done is repaired a lot of the slabbing here. We've installed some new railings, some basic things as well, that the guttering used to leak and water would pour down everywhere. So we fixed all that. This fascia area is all new as well. So we've made it a quite nice area where the children can come and sit.
And you've also been doing some work on behaviour management, haven't you? And we're going to go and look at one of the areas that you've been dealing with.
We can, that's up at Launchpad.
Okay. So Steve, this is Launchpad. Tell me about your thinking and how this has been laid out.
Well, this is part of the inclusion programme, and the idea here is that we give support to a range of students, those with specific learning difficulties, those with behaviour issues. And the room's been specially put together, so we've got small areas that we call pods, which in these small areas you'll have groups of 3 and 4 working together, not necessarily with the teacher, but with some outstanding teaching assistants. We have some outstanding teaching assistants in schools and some specialist reading support assistants as well. And the children will come here withdrawn from lessons for half an hour or an hour and then go back into mainstream. But the idea is to have much more of a relaxed atmosphere in this area of the school, and you can feel from just around this area that it's very effective. During the recent SATs exams, we used this area very effectively to have students who wouldn't be able to cope with sitting in the main exam hall, and we had up to 30 students who completed all their exams this week, happily sitting their exams in this area, and it was very, very effective.
Another area which has recently been transformed is the sixth form centre. The students did it all themselves.
We identified a small budget and offered the sixth formers the chance to redecorate, which they welcomed warmly. They purchased the furniture and chose the furniture themselves from a very well-known retailer that came flat pack, and then they spent all weekend putting it together, and this is the result. It's their area.
And they chose the colours as well?
They chose the purple colour. I have to be honest, I wasn't too sure about it, but they like it, and that's the most important thing, and it's their area.
John, it's looking a lot brighter in here already. How's it been going?
Pretty well, actually. In fact, the teachers have been terrific. Really have. They've actually worked very, very hard. I've got one more blind to go on here. The yellow that you can see, all that's disappearing. That's going to be white. Down below was going to be white, but of course, Andy was saying that's not going to be practical with the children. So the grey paint is actually more hard-wearing and it won't show up so many marks. The blue behind, because remember this was going to be the blue room, is now going to turn to green. The reason being because the tables are green.
So actually the room's actually going to hang together much better with the grey and the green.
Just simplify everything. And of course we have a new whiteboard.
And it looks a lot more modern as well because you've actually painted around the edges and it looks almost metallic with the light reflecting off it.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't like to paint over the wood, but it was sort of very marked and very old, so that simplified it. And of course, talking of modern, we have this sort of mesh canopy to actually go over here to diffuse some of the lights.
I can't really figure out how that's going to work, what it's going to look like, but I'm trusting you, John.
Oh, don't trust me, I'm just doing as I'm told. And of course out here, now room 2, as you can see, nothing wild and wonderful yet. Everything's been painted out white. And then all these graphics, you know, the big symbols with the numbers on them as well.
Yeah.
And they run right around. We've got the red, we've got the orange, I think, and there's the blue and the green. They also come across right across the glass. So just as they come up the stairs, they'll have this sort of colour coding. It'll start from outside there.
Time to get the green colour scheme in to match the new furniture. The plastic sheeting to help colour code the rooms is a low-cost but very effective feature. Andy Hobday assembles his new wheeled storage units. He's finally getting his own area in the room. And a posh new chair.
You wouldn't necessarily think of building a house of straw, but with modern construction techniques, anything's possible. Architect Sarah Wigglesworth lives in a straw-built house, and she's taken her ideas and her experience of sustainable materials into her exemplar design for a primary school, the Big Rug School. The house at Stock Orchard Street has won a clutch of awards, including the RIBA Sustainability Prize in 2004. It's the home and workplace of an innovative, passionate advocate of sustainability. The design principles used for this building were incorporated into Schools for the Future exemplar design.
What we did here were ideas that we then transferred into the school. So, for example, one of the first things we did was orientate the buildings towards the sunshine, and that's why in the house behind me here you've got a lot of glazing, because that gets a lot of sunshine and it works like a conservatory, heating up the air inside. We've got what's called passive ventilation, which is that air can enter the building through louvers or holes in the floor, and it's drawn up through the building, through the big tower that you see there. And just through the natural thermodynamics that hot air rises, it draws the air through and cools it in the summer. We've got a grass roof up there, which keeps the temperature stable, and in the summer you can irrigate it, and when the water evaporates it acts like a refrigerant. Very heavy insulation is another really key factor, and that's where the straw bales come in, because they are huge bats of insulation essentially. And we've also used other materials like in the gabion walls straight ahead there, which are recycled concrete from other building sites. So all of these things were ideas that we then transferred into our school. The school is like a rug. We call it the Big Rug School because it has a warp and a weft that create a sort of tapestry of various different activities that are taking place on this ground plane. The classrooms, the idea being that they're very flexible with these sliding walls and different arrangements of desks possible, and that their contact with the outside is absolutely paramount, so that the gardens immediately around them are like outdoor classrooms. But the main sort of strip that holds all of the school together is the garden. The major spaces are all around it, and this central room, which is an outdoor room, we call the inner habitat, and it contains all the sort of intense world of gardening right in the heart of the school. And then the third space, which we saw as really important, is what we call the Learning Forum, and that is like a library and a place for doing IT and a place where you could have a breakfast club or you could have an informal classroom and so on and so forth. And anybody can go in there, and it's the public face of the school.
Sarah Wigglesworth believes that sustainability should be at the forefront of thinking about new schools, not an afterthought or a curiosity.
It really needs a bit of a mind shift, really, on everybody's part to see the possibilities of what green building can offer.
At Woodway Park, a green stripe in the maths reception area designates the room that we're transforming. Students are in helping with the new displays, and the mathematically pure curved mesh is being put into position. The new desks need putting together. Display boards need trimming. We're not that far off now.
John, how's it all going?
We're actually getting there, not too much to go. Furniture's in, chairs have got to come in. Most of the painting's done, apart from some little touching up, that's in here. Whiteboard's all done, the blinds are all up. It's outside, really.
For decades, interior designers have been using lighting to create the right mood in indoor spaces. Recent research into learning environments has also shown that the quality of lighting can really enhance the teaching and learning experience. Here are some ideas for lighting to illuminate your school. Stylish top lighting from this unit. Uplight and downlight with this one. Diffused and direct light with these. These give effective lighting accents. Clip-on illumination. For the head's desk, coloured mood lighting could have a role. And these modern ceiling panels might provoke some creative ideas in your school. The British Educational Suppliers Association have a code of practice which all their members comply with. You can find details of all these products on the Teachers TV website.
Stylish new chairs to accompany the new green desks. John Craig's in sign writing mode. Plastic lettering to order the maths rooms. The brief was to give the maths department a clearer identity and branding. And to create a more focused learning environment in the classroom. And a more ordered space for the teacher. New displays, better blinds, and a hyperbolic curved mesh focal point completed the look.
So John, 2 maths rooms this weekend. Did you manage to find the winning formula?
I think so, yes. I mean, it's very simple. Again, we found that perhaps less is more. The grey and the white I was a little concerned about because it did look a little industrial, or battleship grey, I think it was. Having said that, the fact that we've colour-coded all the rooms, you know, the red, the blue, the yellow, the green, it works well with the green furniture and the green notice board was just enough, I feel.
And the lights as well, you've done something to draw attention to the front of the class and diffuse the light.
Mark had this idea about drawing the attention to the whiteboard, and it does actually work. You do seem to focus in there, and of course it diffuses light somewhat.
But I can see that it may be a small temptation to throw things at it and see if you can hit the target.
We'll wait and see.
And you've really given Andy some way to control the lighting in his room, haven't you, as well, with the blinds on the window and the lamps?
He didn't actually have an area for himself before, which I found rather bizarre. Now he's even got a trendy little chair there and his own desk, and of course the lights behind him, the uplighters, which you'd find more in a sort of trendy office. And I'm a great believer in it shouldn't look like a typical classroom. I think you can sort of add more of the corporate feel to it. And also, like with the chairs as well, they're not the old sort of metal chairs that we used to have in the old days. I believe they're designed so that you can't be leaning back on them. I've tried it, it's not too good.
That's no fun, is it?
It's a maths lesson, they were never fun in my day.
The rooms were transformed within a budget of about £2,000.
So Steve, it's all finished. What do you think?
I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's bright. It's different. I'm really looking forward to seeing the kids' faces when they arrive on Monday morning. I think the graphics are absolutely brilliant, and I really like the way the colours link up the different rooms.
And now it's all painted, it looks like quite a big space. Do you think you could use it for other activities?
Certainly, I think that we have to use this as a kind of breakout area. And what I was actually thinking, that we could bring ICT into this area with a connection from the ceiling and a kind of central pod here as well, where students can come out from the three main areas and work in this area as well. Because it's not really used effectively, this space, so it's got a lot of potential.
And Andy's pleased with his room, isn't he?
I think he's very happy. I think he won't stop smiling.
Shall we go and have a word with him?
I think we should.
Andy, caught you working hard there. What do you think of your new room then?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, just look how modern it is compared to how it was before. It looked quite old-fashioned, but with the nice bright colours. I think it's really made a difference.
And Steve, has it given you ideas that you can carry through the rest of the school?
Certainly food for thought. I'm waiting for the queue of up to 50 staff outside my office on first thing on Monday morning, all wanting the same. But what I'm particularly happy about and really thankful is all the staff giving up their time this weekend. Staff have been fantastic this weekend. They've all mucked in and done a great job, particularly Andy, who's been here for the 2 full days. I think that's because he didn't trust us what we were going to do with his classroom, but it's been well worthwhile. It's been an enjoyable weekend.
Well, we had a great weekend. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you for all your time and effort. It's much appreciated.
If you've been involved in an exciting design project or would like help to transform an area of your school, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact us through the Teachers TV website, where you'll find details of today's programme. From Woodway Park School, it's goodbye from all change.